My son and his girlfriend broke up, but he doesn't know it was me. I broke up my son with his girlfriend. After almost a year together, they look very happy. To give you some background, my son moved out not long after his real father died. He told me he wanted to add more to his life because he was afraid he would waste away being sad over the death of someone very important to him. I totally got it and gave him space and freedom, but we talked every day and he came over all the time. He moved back after living alone for a while. Around this time, he put me in touch with Kaylee. I got along right away with Kaylee. She didn't have a mother in her life, and I think she quickly became close with me as one. Right away, I could tell she was very suspicious and had a hard time trusting people. She wasn't mean or controlling. She was just worried about where my son was going after work. When she asked me, I told her that he went to his friend Mike's house to play PlayStation with him. We both really think my son was at Mike's house, and there was no reason to think he wasn't. Kaylee asked me to get her some tampons and Tylenol one night after my son came home with his PS4 to play with Mike. I used to stay up late to help her because she lived close and had really painful periods all the time. For the most part, my son is home or at Kaylee's by 5:30 or 6 p.m. after getting off work at 4 p.m. He hadn't come by to drop off his PS4 by 6, so I texted him before I left to let him know I would be gone. It went something like, "Hey, Kaylee's having her period, so I'm going to get some supplies. Are you okay?" He replied while I was driving, and I looked it over when I got to the shop. It was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." It took Mike a while to put together the shelf he bought, so I'm staying a little longer. I replied with a message that said, "Okay, everyone stay safe," but I wasn't ready for Mike to smile at me as soon as I walked in while he was working the cash register. I remembered that he worked here, but I guess I thought it was his day off. When I smiled back, I felt sick to my stomach right away. I tried to make sense of it. He might mean that he is building it for Mike while Mike works. I was unable to think clearly. I went to the register after getting Kaylee some food, tampons, and Tylenol. It was clear that Mike started a conversation with me. It's a paraphrase because my memory is bad, but I'm fine. Getting things for the girlfriend of my son. I thought he laughed. "I haven't seen your son in a few weeks to talk about him. Could you tell him that I need him to return the PS4 controller he borrowed?" I was sick again. I didn't want to draw attention to my son, so I didn't talk about the things he had been telling me. I smiled and told him I would. I quickly left after paying for my things. It was hard for me to decide what to say or how to say it when I got to Kaylee's house with the gear. She laughed and smiled and seemed to be having a good time. She wanted to know where my son was. I was not going to lie to her, so I gave an honest answer. I'm not sure. I had no idea where he was or who he was with. She was told to call him and ask. I left her house after she thanked me around 8 p.m. That night, my son finally came home. I only asked him if he was having fun, and that was it. He replied yes and went to his room. I knew I needed to tell Kaylee. After that, I quickly went to my room and called her. She knew what Mike had said and how late he got home because I told her. She told me he told her he was home hours ago and was too tired to come over. She looked like she was crying, so I asked if I could come over. We talked about everything when I went to her house, and she told me she didn't want anything to do with him and wanted to break up with him right away. She could do what I told her, and she could be honest and say I told her. She asked if she could still call me even though she wasn't with my son after I had helped her feel better for a few hours. I said yes, but I'm not sure if I want to do it yet. I love her, but something is wrong. I'd still help her though. Soon after, my son comes to me in tears because Kaylee broke up with him without giving him a reason. Of course, I also made him feel better. He told her that she needed some time to think about it and that she would explain herself when she had something to say. For now, she is said to be silent. I understand why she felt that way. It didn't matter what he did or what I did. He cried for hours in his room and in my arms. I soothed him. I feel bad that he doesn't know what I know and want to tell him. I might wait though, since Kaylee hasn't told him anything yet. Now really, I'm stuck. It's not just about cheating, though I believe that's what it is. It's about faith and how he's lying to me and his girlfriend. Yes, there's a chance he's not stealing, but he shouldn't have to lie if he has nothing to hide. Do you think I crossed the line or did I do the right thing? I'm not sure, to be honest. What do you all think? There's a girl my son has seen that doesn't know I broke up with her. Part 2. It wasn't planned that I would post a report for a few days or weeks, but I did because people told me to. I just need to make a few things clear. My son had his own place and time, but I wanted him to be able to spend all of his time with me if he wanted to. When he was a teen, he would tell me to leave him alone when he was mad. However, if he didn't talk to me for more than 3 days, I would just ask him if he was okay. After his real father died, I told him he could take a break from talking to me if he wanted to. I would call him when it was okay to do so. He wanted to call me and come over after the break, which was only about a week long. To find out what was going on, Kaylee called him. She and her sister talked about it, and then she chose to ask him. It turned out that he was cheating on her, but he told her it was because she was on her period and very sensitive. He said he had done it 3 times before, all while she was watching. She called me and told me before my son did, but to be fair, he was busy telling his lover and now Mike what was going on when he caught Mike in the middle. Even though it's only noon, he wants to tell me more after work, which I told him was fine. that he was sorry for lying. I told him it was okay, but it made me feel bad. His real dad cheated on me, which is why we are no longer together. I didn't say this in the post or to him. During the first year of our marriage and before I got pregnant with my son, he cheated on me. I didn't want my son to believe that was okay. Kaylee told me she would stay with my son if he promised not to do it again. There was a lot of love between them. That's not my business, so I haven't told him that. They can talk about it. Since then, my son has sent me a few texts about work, but he seems really sorry. If I'm a little let down by him, it's because of what I went through and how hard it is to be a single mom after the man you love left you. It really stinks to hear that Kaylee said she would try to be a better girlfriend because this is not her fault. I'm not going to tell her to break up with him and find someone else, but the fact that she can forgive him amazes me. I really can't be mad at my son, even though I want to. He has never made me mad before, but this situation made me remember everything that happened when he was little. I wish this would teach my son something. I will be a little tough with him tonight when we talk, but again, he is an adult. I can't stop him if he says he's going to cheat on her. I hope he learns a lot.